Good evening, everyone. Just thought I'd give you a quick look at the, excuse me, at the moon before we go to the moth sheet. The street light on the left, cottage light on Treasure Island, the lower right, and the moon, the top right. Hi, Ginger and Alyssa. Thank you for being here. Chloe and JV, good evening to you. Hello, Christiane. Welcome to you. Thank you for joining us. There's Mr. Dan, the time sync. Hi, Dan. Good evening, Kim. Good to see you. Well, there aren't a lot of moths at the sheet. I was out here around 10 o'clock or so, and there were a few, and pretty much about the same now. There are a few, but at least there are a few. Last night there was nothing, nothing at all. It's 15 degrees Celsius right now, 59 Fahrenheit. No wind. Clear, as you saw. I apologize again to those of you who were waiting for the stream to start last night, wondering where we were. And as I explained, I tried to explain to a few people today, I came out about half an hour before the stream started last night, and I knew it was really cold, and there wasn't anything, not a moth, not even a midge on the sheet. So I messaged Ginger and Alyssa right away to say we're going to have to cancel the stream. There's nothing here. And I said to them I must go to the scheduled stream for the moth check and leave a message there that it's been canceled. But before I did that, we started chatting. And we chatted, and we chatted, and we chatted. And I just completely forgot about leaving a message in the scheduled stream. So I thought of it around 11:15 local time. And I went and I noticed there had been a pretty good conversation of people waiting for us. So again, I'm sorry. I wish there was an easy way to let people know when a stream has been canceled. But there doesn't seem to be an easy way. Even if you go and click on notifications so that you're notified when the stream starts. There's no way to send out a notification to those people that the stream has been canceled. So anyway, it's always a problem letting people know that there is or isn't a moth stream. Anyway, let's go look at some of these moths before they leave. Christiana asked about moths and the cold. No, they don't do well in cold, like many other insects. And there are very few species that will fly below about 10 degrees Celsius. But there are a few. I mean, I see moths sometimes in December. There's There's a few species that are specialized for cold weather, not below freezing, but for single-digit weather. But we have a nice string of warm weather coming up, 5 or 6 days of daytime temperatures in the mid to upper 20s Celsius, and nighttime lows that will be a fair bit warmer than what we're having right now. So hopefully we'll have some good moth nights coming up in the next week. Well, let's start up here and get myself untangled from the wires. I believe this is a white banded tooth carpet. Does somebody see a spider web? There's a fairly large moth up on top here. This is a large yellow underwing, very pale form. Oh, I see a spider web right here. Sorry, Mr. Spider. Can build another one tomorrow. Who's up in here? Not sure. Some kind of an owlet. And this one has his wings closed. Looks like a carpet. Here's a nice caddisfly. I'm hearing some raccoons arguing, probably at the bird feeders. It's a beautiful little micro moth of some kind. Hey Ryan, how's it going tonight? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Some kind of a geometer here. I'm not sure what this species is. And this looks like a micromoth in the genus Acrobasis. Lots of species in that genus. Acrobasis. Here's a pale beauty up here. Always one of my favorite moths. This pale green. They're quite large. Remember those bands of cloth are 11 millimeters wide. That's a broad-winged bush katydid calling behind us. Not sure if you heard that. Pretty close, actually. Just cold again. I think that's a 3-line leaf roller that's worn. Our friendly ichneumon wasp that we see pretty much every night. In the genus Ophion, O-P-H-I-O-N, Ophion. Up here we have lesser maple spanworm. They certainly have been common for the past month or so. And not sure who that is. I thought it was going to be a barberry geometer. I mean a sweet fern geometer. But I'm not sure. It could be just worn. Not sure. Here's a flame-shouldered dart. Thrush just called overhead. Some kind of a leaf roller there. I'm not sure what species it is. Down here, Zestia dolosa. And another flame-shouldered dart. Here's a gypsy moth, a male. Another Zestia dolosa. This looks like a version of one we saw a few minutes ago. I didn't recognize, and I don't recognize that darker one either. Classic moth here. It's neat how they like to hold their front legs straight out in front of their head. This one's nice and fresh, has a beautiful pattern on the wings. The antennae are just simple pale antennae, and they're laid back from the head down on top of the wings. I noticed somebody mentioned they cut out. We lost connection for a second, Stuart. Okay. This is a white-marked tussock moth. Um, are you able to hear me okay now? Yes? Okay, good. Here's a dark spotted althus. Another pretty unique shape. Again, the front legs are being held straight out in front of the head. The paper airplane moth, yeah, right on. I think I was looking at moths for 2 or 3 years before I finally saw one of these. I was so excited. And now they've become almost routine. In fact, I see another one right here. So I guess it's probably a species that's moved in from the south, expanding its range northward as our temperatures increase in the summer. Here's a common hypa, nice fresh one, beautiful pattern on this moth. Common hypa, Hyppa. Yeah, there's sort of a hint of pinkish, I guess, in the middle of the forewing. And over here is another Zestia dolosa. A nice forehead, front of the thorax. And the flame-shouldered dart. That's a nice fresh one. I hear some warblers overhead, giving single, very high-pitched call notes. What else do we have here? There's another gypsy moth up here. And up here, another Zestia dolosa. Yep, you're right, Ryan, he's about to take off. And Pale Beauty. All right, I guess we'll move over to the right side of the sheet. I don't see much over here, actually. guess this is a grass veneer. Maybe the leech's grass veneer again. Here's a better view. And up here is Potamus. His face looks like a squid's. Got some nice palps. I think maybe one of his palps is broken off. Yeah, this is Potamus alveolana. What do the palps do? I think, well, I'm not really sure actually what they use them for. Maybe, here's a sweet fern geometer. Maybe it helps them in feeding somehow. Good question, Ginger. Palps are part of the mouth of a moth, so they're probably associated with. Oh, here's a nice looper. Sorry. Ooh. So which looper is this? This is either the dark spotted looper or the unspotted looper. Not any obvious spots on it, but sometimes the dark spotted loopers are lacking in spots also. So it's one of those two. And I think there are other features that separate them quite easily. So as soon as I look in the guide, I'll know which it is. We've seen dark-spotted looper on the stream. Unspotted we have not seen, and it's quite rare. Alyssa or Ginger or anyone, if you have a chance, and the browser page available, you could check it. Could just do a check for unspotted looper, MPG, like miles per gallon, MPG, moth. Just see if that looks like it could be. Okay, let's see, you already looked, and they do look similar. I think there's some markings on the towards the rear part of the wings that are really different between the two species. I think, if I remember correctly, one of them has a nice pale line, a distinct line that crosses the wings out near the tip, but not right at the tip. but I'm not sure. I would look at it myself here on the iPad, except I'm afraid I'd lose the stream or I'd mess something up. I need a second iPad, I guess. One on a stand. Here's a Baltimore snout. And it's a caddisfly. Gosh, doesn't have any antenna. I guess it got broken off somehow. All right, we're going to go over to the right side here again. This is the sweet fern geometer we saw earlier. And over here on the side of the sheet, well, on the shingles here is a Zestia dolosa. Also shivering, getting ready to fly. White banded tooth carpet. Flame-shouldered dart. Zestia dolosa on top and another flame-shouldered dart. Oh, here's a large maple spanworm. No, it's just called maple spanworm. This is the one that imitates a dead leaf. They always hold their wings like this. Maple spanworm. Pretty common moth in the autumn. Quite large. Yeah, it looks like a leaf. A leaf that is full of mines. Little mines from leaf miners. So there are three moths that are common here with the name maple spanworm. There's a lesser maple spanworm that we saw earlier. I can't show it to you now because it's not there anymore, but the lesser maple spanworm. This one is just, the common name is just maple spanworm. And there's a third one, don't believe we've seen yet, but we will, called the large maple spanworm. That's a really large brown moth. So maple spanworm, I think we saw one or two in recent nights. Back to the shingles here. Let's see if there's anything I've overlooked. Another Baltimore snout here. Flame-shouldered dart. a sharp-angled carpet moth up here. Like a Zestia dolosa hiding under the shingle. Some kind of a carpet moth down there. It's a sharp-angled carpet moth. Caddisfly with antenna intact. Our maple spanworm is still here. Okay, one more round here. It's the caddisfly that doesn't have antenna. There's a big pink barred glyph just arrived. Pink barred glyph. Here's a lesser maple spanworm up here. This looper is still here. It's probably a dark spotted looper. They're pretty common, dark spotted loopers. Unspotted, very rare. I've only seen a couple, I think. But I'll double check that. You think so, Alyssa? Did you check it again? Okay, you looked again. Great, thank you. All right, well, our white-marked tussock moth is still here. is very worn, bleached. Dark spotted peltis, again the same, one of the same ones we saw. And the common hypa. And that would seem to be it. I don't see anything new, and there's very little flying around at the moment. A maple spanworm going up the shingles there. And he displaced this moth here, which is another white-marked tussock moth. Broadwing bush katydid, it's called. I'm kind of disappointed we haven't had katydids on the sheet. Looking forward to giving you nice views of katydid. Most years have them almost nightly for a few weeks, and really common to see them on the sheet and landing on me too and crawling up my arms. All right, well, I guess we'll call it a night. Nothing too spectacular, but at least we have a few moths tonight, and I expect it'll get better as we go through the weekend and into next week. We have some warmer weather coming. I'll shut our light off here. It's the moon up in the top right there. Thanks, Alyssa. Thank you, Ginger, so much for always being here and typing the names. Chloe and JV, still hoping for the rosy maple moth. Well, you never know. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Good night, Christiane. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your sleep tonight, and we'll see you tomorrow. Good night, Dan. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Kim, if you're still here, good night. Thanks for joining us. Ryan, if you're still there, thank you. Good night. Take care, everyone. Please hit the like button if you haven't yet. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.